It was a fun day yesterday. The NBA trade deadline. So a lot of times the NBA trade deadline is really hyped up. You know, oh, there's so many moves that can happen. We're expecting this and that to happen, and then none of it really happens, right? Oh, we decided not to trade this guy for this and that reason, stuff like that. But this year, we actually got some huge trades in the trade deadline. So let's start with the big one first. The 76ers actually made the trade. James Harden for Ben Simmons. Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, 2 firsts for James Harden. There's some role player losses here for the Sixers. Losing Seth Curry hurts. He was a great shooter, and Andre Drummond's a great rebounder. It really completes the Nets as a team, and getting Ben Simmons, we'll see when he's back and ready to go. But I think it's a great trade for both sides. I think the 76ers now have a championship window. James Harden and Joel Embiid together is such a nasty duo, and I'm really excited to see them play and to play with them on 2K, quite honestly. I love James Harden. He's one of my favorites. The Mavericks sent Kristaps Porzingis to the Wizards. It was Kristaps and a second-round pick for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. This trade, admittedly, is kind of confusing because the Mavericks don't really accomplish much here. So they get another ball handler in Spencer Dinwiddie, which is something they wanted to do for the last 2 seasons, right? And they get Davis Bertans, who on this contract has not been good at all for the Wizards. So I understand why the Wizards would move off of him. But you don't free up any cap. These aren't dead money contracts. You have to pay these guys. And you lose Porzingis, who that's not a huge loss for what he was giving them. So I understand the players and why they're getting moved, but it's just kind of a confusing deal if you're a Maverick fan. The Celtics get Derek White for Josh Richardson and Romeo Langford. This is and 2 firsts. This is another good trade. Derek White is one of those guys who's really underrated. I think anyone who plays for the Spurs is just going to be underrated. They're not too flashy. They're not on TV anymore without Tim Duncan. So this is a good trade though. Derek White averaging good numbers this year, and he adds a lot to the Celtics offense and really their defense too. They also got Daniel Theis for Dennis Schroeder, Enes Freedom, and Bruno Fernando. This is I did not expect Dennis Schroeder to get moved. I don't know what he was doing this year. I know the Celtics are kind of bad. They were kind of bad. Now they're hot. But this is a good trade. The Celtics needed Daniel Theis back, so it's a good trade. The next trade on the list is the Bucks get Serge. The Bucks get Serge Ibaka, a second-round pick, 2 seconds, cash. The Clippers get Rodney Hood, Semi Ojeleye, and a European player whose name I am not going to try to pronounce. The Kings get Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson, Trey Miles, David Machino, I butchered that, a second-round pick, and the Pistons get Marvin Bagley. So let's go team by team. So the Bucks get Serge Ibaka, offensive center. It'll be good, which is kind of confusing because they have. So you're not taking Giannis off the floor, right? But you also have Bobby Portis still, and Brook Lopez is coming back at some point this year. So I don't know, unless Brook is more hurt than they're letting on. I don't know what this trade accomplishes for the Bucks. The Clippers get Rodney Hood, who hasn't been good since his injury. Semi Ojeleye, who just has never been good. So they were just in this trade to make it work. I'm guessing. The Kings get Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson. Those are 2 guys who I think can help them. And they finally move off of Marvin Bagley. I didn't realize that Marvin Bagley's his value was so low. I feel like they could have got more than DiVincenzo and Josh Jackson for him. But, hey, they didn't want him anymore. So it is what it is. And then the Pistons, Marvin Bagley, I think he'll be good for them. I don't think he's gotten really a fair shake yet in the NBA. So hopefully this will be that for him. The Hornets get Montrezl Harrell for Vernon Carey, Ish Smith, and a second-round pick. I haven't really been following what Harrell has been doing for the Wizards this year. But from what he's done in the past on the Clippers and stuff, it's a good move. he'll be able to add a lot of defense for them, and that's something that they need for their playoff run. Torrey Craig returns to the Suns for Jalen Smith in a second. Jalen Smith has looked good for the Suns, so it's a surprising move, kind of. But also, you're playing him to get his trade value up, to make a trade like this for a proven role player. Someone like Jalen Smith was just never really going to develop on the Suns because, you know, they're playing to win a championship this year, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year. So you're not really going to have the time to really develop a guy like that. They also get Aaron Holiday for cash considerations. I don't know what let me look at Aaron Holiday's numbers. 6 points, 2 assists, 2 boards. You know, backup guard. He might play a little bit. That's about it. The Raptors get Goran Dragic to the Spurs for Thaddeus Young and Drew Eubanks. It's just a weird trade. The Spurs said they were going to buy out Goran Dragic. Another small trade. Bol and PJ Dozier to the Magic for a second. Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the Jazz for Joe Ingles. This has been... I expected the Jazz to do a little more at the deadline. There's just been a lot of tension in that locker room. So trading Joe Ingles right now makes a lot of sense to kind of try to alleviate some of that. The Heat get KZ Okpala for a second. Another one that just doesn't really matter. Now, this is a trade that doesn't make any damn sense. The Kings get Domantas Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield and Tristan Thompson. Deep breath. This trade makes zero sense because Halliburton will be the best player in this trade. Yeah, Sabonis is good. He adds offense for them. But the Kings' struggles have been defensive. They haven't had a problem really putting points on the board. So, getting Domantas Sabonis, I don't know what that adds to them. They can win now. You know, they might make the playoffs. They might make the play-in or even the playoffs this year. But Tyrese seems like he can be a 23, 24, and 10 guy. So, to trade him in his second year when you had De'Aaron Fox to trade also just kind of doesn't make any sense to me. And the only thing I can think of is that they didn't want to trade De'Aaron Fox after they paid him. Otherwise, that trade makes no sense. The Blazers send McCollum to the Pelicans, and he actually had a good game last night, and they won. The Cavs get Karis LeVert from the Pacers for Ricky Rubio and a first, and that's about it. Yeah. The big thing that you notice I did not talk about is a Westbrook trade, right? So they sat Westbrook the night before the trade deadline. So a lot of people were anticipating a deal. Ultimately, it didn't happen, which I think is interesting. I don't think the Lakers are good enough to make the playoffs this year. They're 23 and 29 right now. I don't know, man. I don't know what they do. I don't know how they can really fix this. It doesn't really seem like something that can be fixed at times. And then other times, you're like, they have LeBron. Like, they'll figure it out. But the Lakers didn't make a trade. Today it came out that Donovan Mitchell is very unhappy with the fact that the Jazz weren't more active at the deadline, trading away guys, and that he could force his way out this offseason, which I would be such a fan of. Don, get out. Get out of Utah. Like, nobody wants you there. You deserve so much better. Go to a team that actually cares about you and is going to do something for you. And that's really the trade deadline, man. So I just want to thank you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of that stuff. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.